Welcome to Dreamy Tales English. I'm David. Tonight, we have a special story for you. It's called The Kite Maker of Weifang. Weifang is a city in Shandong Province that most people have never heard of. But among those who know it, Weifang is famous for one thing: kites. For over 2,000 years, the people of Weifang have been making and flying kites. The city hosts an international kite festival every April, attracting makers and flyers from more than 50 countries. And in the old neighborhoods, where the streets are narrow and the houses are low, you can still see kites hanging in doorways and courtyards, their colorful wings catching the morning light like butterflies at rest. Our story begins in the workshop of Master Li, a 70-year-old kite maker whose family has been crafting kites for 6 generations. Master Li's hands are thin and spotted with age, but they move with a precision that seems impossible for a man his age. He cuts bamboo strips with a small knife, bends them into arcs, ties them together with silk thread, and stretches rice paper over the frame, all in one fluid motion, like a dancer performing a choreographed routine. He does not speak much. When customers ask about the price, he nods and points to a small sign. When children come to watch him work, he smiles and lets them hold the bamboo strips. And when the wind blows from the north, he takes his favorite kite, a long, serpentine dragon with 17 segments, and walks to the open field behind his house to fly it. Liang was 31 years old when he returned to Weifang after 10 years in Shenzhen. He had left the city to work in technology, drawn by promises of high salaries and fast careers. He had spent a decade writing code for a company that made apps nobody needed, living in an apartment that was too small and too quiet, eating meals that tasted like nothing at all. He had saved money, bought a car, and achieved everything his parents had dreamed of for him. But somewhere along the way, he had lost something he couldn't name. On a rainy Sunday in March, Liang drove back to Weifang without telling anyone. He wanted to see his grandfather, who was in poor health. He wanted to sit in the old house, drink tea, and remember what it felt like to be a child. And on the way, he passed Master Li's workshop. The door was open. Inside, Master Li was bending a bamboo strip over a flame, shaping it into a curved arc. The smell of burning bamboo filled the small room. On the walls hung dozens of kites, birds, dragons, butterflies, fish, each one painted with care and bound with silk thread. Liang stopped in the doorway. He had not planned to come in, but something about the scene before him, the old man, the bamboo, the kites, made him pause. Master Li looked up, nodded, and returned to his work. Liang stepped inside. He stood there for a long time, watching. Then he pointed to a kite shaped like a swallow. "How much is that one?" Master Li set down his bamboo strip and looked at the kite. "You don't want to buy it. You want to make one." Liang blinked. "How did you know that?" "Your eyes," Master Li said simply. "They look like mine did when I was your age. Full of questions, but no answers." He stood up, walked to a shelf, and returned with a bundle of bamboo strips and a sheet of rice paper. "Sit," he said. "I will show you." And so Liang sat on a wooden stool in Master Li's workshop and learned to make a kite. The process was simple but precise. First, you select the right bamboo, thin, flexible, and strong. Then you cut it into strips of different lengths and bend each one over a flame until it curves to the shape you need. Next, you tie the strips together with silk thread, forming a frame that is both light and sturdy. Finally, you stretch the rice paper over the frame, smooth it with your palms, and paint a design on the surface. Liang's first kite was terrible. The frame was crooked. The paper tore when he tried to stretch it. The paint smeared because he had used too much water. He threw it across the room in frustration. Master Li did not react. He simply picked up the ruined kite, examined it carefully, and said, again. He did this 5 more times. Each time, the kite improved. Each time, Master Li's hands moved closer to Liang's, correcting, guiding, teaching. On the 6th attempt, Liang's kite was good. Not perfect. No kite made by a beginner is ever perfect, but good enough. It was shaped like a swallow, with wings spread wide and a tail made of 3 long ribbons of silk. The body was painted white with black markings, and the eyes were 2 small dots of gold. Master Li held it up to the light and examined it from every angle. Then he nodded. This one will fly. That afternoon, the rain stopped and the clouds parted. Master Li took Liang to the open field behind his house, a wide expanse of green grass bordered by a row of poplar trees. The wind was blowing from the north, steady and cool, at about 15 kilometers per hour. Give it to me, Master Li said. Liang handed him the kite. Master Li held it high, waited for a gust, and released it. The kite caught the wind and rose, slowly at first, then faster, climbing higher and higher until it was a small white dot against the gray sky. Liang watched it go. He felt something in his chest loosen, like a knot he had been carrying for years had finally been untied. It flies because the wind wants it to, Master Li said, not because of the bamboo or the paper or the paint. The wind is the most important part. Without the wind, a kite is just a piece of wood and cloth. With the wind, it becomes something else, something free. Liang stood in the field for a long time, watching the swallow kite dance in the sky. He thought about his life in Shenzhen, the code he had written, the apps he had built, the money he had earned. He thought about how much energy he had spent trying to control everything, to make everything perfect, to achieve everything his parents and society had told him to achieve. And he thought about the kite, how it flew not by controlling the wind, but by working with it. How it rose not by fighting the air, but by surrendering to it. That evening, Liang called his boss and resigned. He did not have a plan for what came next, but he knew one thing. He wanted to learn more about kite making. He wanted to understand not just the craft, but the philosophy behind it, the idea that the best things in life are not controlled, but released. He stayed in Weifang for the rest of the spring. Every morning, he walked to Master Li's workshop and learned. Every afternoon, he flew kites in the field behind the house. And every evening, he sat on the porch of his grandfather's old house, drinking tea and watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. By the time April arrived, Liang could make a kite on his own. Not as well as Master Li, no one could, but well enough. He made 3 kites that month, a swallow, a dragon, and a butterfly. He flew each one in the field, and each one caught the wind and rose. On the day of the Weifang International Kite Festival, Liang stood in the crowd of thousands, watching kites of every shape and size fill the sky. There were dragons with dozens of segments, birds with wingspans wider than a car, fish that looked so real they seemed to swim through the air. And among them, small and simple, was his swallow, flying higher than any of the others, carried by the wind, free. He thought of Master Li and the words he had said in the field. The kite flies because the wind wants it to. And for the first time in 10 years, Liang felt free. Good night and sweet dreams.